It is perfect football weather tonight for Russell Wilson and the Seahawks, who will start on offense first. The Vikings won the toss but have deferred, so Seattle will take it over. And there you see Pete Carroll, now in his 8th season with the Seahawks.
Friday Night Lights. Only game in town on a national level tonight is this one. And this does not sound like all the other preseason stadiums that you've heard to this point. It is rocking in this building.
Normal capacity of 67,000. Many of them wearing that popular number 12 jersey as they get ready. Kai Forbath to kick it off for the Vikings. J.D. McKissick takes it at the 5-yard line. Tries to get outside, can't quite get around the corner. Out to roughly the 22-yard line, and that's where Russell Wilson will get his first opportunity here this week. You see the numbers from last season. Mostly career highs, a couple of franchise records from the pocket. Wasn't able to run as much as he wanted to because of that injury that he suffered week 1 to his ankle, but battled through it. Didn't miss a snap all season, or didn't miss a game all season, I should say. As the Seahawks take over at the 23-yard line, Eddie Lacy gets the start at running back. Wilson chased out of the pocket and just throws away. There is a flag down on the field as well. Referee Tony Corrente.
Defense number 23, 5-yard penalty and an automatic first down.
That's called on Terrence Newman, the 39-year-old cornerback, still going for the Vikings. And here's a look at that offensive line. We talked about it. Fant and Jokel named the week 1 starters this week. Britt gets a new contract. Doug Baldwin missed last week's game with a foot injury, but he's back in there tonight. And Eddie Lacy got to start for the first time here at running back. Lacy, his first carry of the night, spins, and the big fella picks up 8 yards.
You know, we saw a week ago against those Chargers that surge at the point of attack, and it'll be a challenge. It's one of the better D-lines, one of the better defenses in all of the NFL. Top 5 in most statistical categories. Like the Seahawks, they return 10 of 11 starters. The only one is linebacker there, Ben Gedeon. The rookie is going to get his opportunity to shine. And Trey Wayne's the starting corner out, and in his place, the 39-year-old already had the holding penalty with Terrence Newman.
Here's Lacy. Falls forward. Going to be stopped before he got to the first down. Eric Kendricks with the tackle. And there's a look at Lacy coming over from the Green Bay Packers after 5 years there. Of course, University of Alabama won 3 national championships in 4 years. His first 2 years in the league, there you see he was a Pro Bowler as a rookie and got 1,100 yards each of those first 2 seasons. He's kind of battled weight and foot injuries since. Came to the Seahawks on a 1-year deal, trying to prove that he's still got it. He's alone in the backfield on 3rd and short. Lowers his shoulder. We'll see where they spot this. Anton Exum with the stop.
I think unlike Green Bay, Kurt, Pete Carroll's been very adamant and very clear. He wants Eddie Lacy big. And I think back to the USC days with Reggie Bush, Lindell White, that power combination with the speed and quickness and explosiveness. No Rawls tonight. Banged up ankle. CJ Procise also a late scratch, so even more opportunity for the big fella.
And he gets the first down. Wilson, play action. Brings it down, downfield, Doug Baldwin. Got his feet in bounds. Terrence Newman pushed him out, but only after he picked up 12 yards.
3 consecutive runs, and you're going to set up that deeper play action pass. So smooth is Doug. And maybe gets away with a little veteran move, a little contact there, but the body control. You're going to run the out, the up, the comeback. In order to do that and never lose your speed, you have to have tremendous body control and then to toe tap on the sidelines. That's why 89 is one of the best in the game.
94 catches last year, tied the franchise record set by Bobby Ingram. Wilson, quick pass. Baldwin again. right in front of Newman, who wrestled him to the ground, give him forward progress in 5 yards.
I kind of like this. This is Doug on the outside. Now, Doug made most of his living a season ago, those 90-some receptions in the slot. Impossible to cover in the slot with the way he gets off the ball and his quickness, but a couple snaps there showing not just a slot guy. Can also play outside, create separation. I know he was itching to get back on the field after missing the opener.
Quick snap on 2nd and 5. Chris Carson made it back to the line of scrimmage, maybe 1 yard on the play for the 7th round pick, final pick of 11 that the Seahawks had in the preseason out of Oklahoma State.
And he's made quite an impression. And so has Eric Kendricks. And I mentioned that front 7 for the Vikings. If you're going to get the run game going, and Pete wants to see a little bit more, the yards per carry, the commitment to it, great last week, but the yards per carry, you got to get up. In order to do that, you've got to get on a very active linebacker crew with Kendricks and Barr.
Leading the 41 for the first, Baldwin in motion. Wilson looking deep. One-handed grab and caught. Kason Williams. He had 4 spectacular catches last week and now adds a 5th. 27 yards on a one-handed reception.
Yeah, but this is better. Good protection. And it's one thing to do it against an undrafted rookie free agent, as Kason did last week again and again and again. You're talking about Xavier Rhodes, a guy that got paid this offseason, big dough. And the 7-foot high jumper not only goes up and gets it, that's Odell Beckham. That's Most. I better see that on Monday night. Randy, put that one on your reel. That's pretty good.
Down to the 18. Here's Wilson off the play fake. Doug Baldwin wide open. Inside the 5. Hit big by Terrence Newman, who's still down. But another big play for the Seahawks. This time a gain of 16.
And you feel that tempo, don't you? Darrell Bevell was chatting with us yesterday of just how quick in the pace, and Doug's he's giving a little reminder there to Russell of some of the spacing and the quickness there. Very poor coverage. Mackenzie Alexander, the nickel corner, no chance against that speed and quickness.
First and goal from the 2. Eddie Lacy. Nowhere to run. Trying to follow the block of Trey Madden. Gets maybe a yard officially, but not much more than that on the field.
Tom Johnson, Linville Joseph, Everson Griffin, one of those ends. It's not only a good pass rusher, he's really stout. There you see Gideon, the linebacker, fighting for a starting spot. So Bevel is going to go to that run game. He's going to go to the 250-pounder. As he's shown on this drive, there is so much built-in play action off of it. With as nimble as Russell is in that movement game, now healthy as you talked about earlier.
Wilson. Broken up. Nice coverage by Marcus Sherrills. Jermaine Kearse, the intended receiver.
This is the area for me, Kurt, this year. If we talk about takeaways on defense, it is red zone scoring. 25th a season ago. Converting those red zone opportunities into touchdowns. You've got to be better than that. You have got to score 7s. Slightly underthrown. Jermaine's going to say to Russ, give me a chance, get that ball up just a little bit more to that back pylon for me so I can be like Kason and go high point.
From the shotgun this time. Yep. You said you wanted to be like Kason. He threw it to Kason, who went up and over Sherrills for the touchdown.
Well, if Pete liked the big back at USC for all those years, you know what else he covets? Big receivers, because he knows defensively it is such a problem when you can have good coverage. You can be right in the hip of that wide receiver, but if you're facing a bigger, stronger, more explosive athlete, he's going to come down with it. Kason now 6 for 6 in the preseason. And that's against Sherrills. Again, another veteran that size is just too much to cover.
Blair Walsh, the former Viking kicker, comes on for the extra point.
What's his heartbeat right now?
You think he's a little nervous? Released by the Vikings last year, of course, infamously. Missed that field goal that would have won it in a playoff game 2 seasons ago, and came back and struggled through 9 games last year, and Minnesota released him. And you see Kason Williams being congratulated.
You know what's cool, though? Look at all the defensive guys. I mean, that just stands out and jumps out. Cassius Marsh, one of the first teammates to go over there and give him some love. That's cool.
And Walsh puts that one through. And so the Seahawks open up with a nice long 11-play, 77-yard drive. Kason Williams makes it 7-0.
Past the physical, he's been here. He's been up and down off that practice squad. And he said, I'm done counting numbers. I'm just done with it. I'm not going to worry about anybody else. I know if I play my game, I've got every opportunity to be a Seahawk or somewhere in this league, because he really believes that talent is good enough. And man, he has expressed it these first 2 games.
Yeah, he has shown as brightly as anybody in a Seahawks uniform through these first 5 quarters of the 2017 preseason.
Down 10 pounds. If he looks a little bit leaner than what you have seen him over the years, a concerted effort to eat right, to get in the best shape of his life in an awfully big competitive wide receiver room.
So he's been doing a lot of juices and smoothies.
So that's the answer.
We all need to learn that secret. Blair Walsh with the kickoff. Ball taken by Jarek McKinnon, and look at that. Kason Williams with the tackle. Is there anything he can't do? My goodness. Well, the national conversation this week was about Michael Bennett sitting during the national anthem during Sunday's game down in Los Angeles. He talked about why he did it after that contest.
I hope that I can activate everybody to get off their hands and feet and go out into the communities and push helping each other, push, sit down with somebody that's the opposite sex, sit down with somebody that's the opposite race, different religion, understand that people are different, and go out and join the community and try to change your society, change what you're a part of. If you don't like it, keep changing, and realize, let kids know that they got power.
All right, Michael Floyd making the grab there for the first down. And before today's game, Bennett said he was going to do it all season. Here he is during the national anthem today. He sat on the bench, but Justin Britt, the starting center, went and put his hand on him in solidarity.
We saw that around the league last night as well.
Chris Long did it in Philadelphia, along with Malcolm Jenkins, who has had his fist raised for more than a season.
This is a close group. This is a team that's been through it before, that really does love one another. An expression there, and a cool expression from Justin Britt.
First down for the Vikings. Cliff Averill with the tackle, stopping Dalvin Cook. And here's a look at Sam Bradford going through his first training camp with the Minnesota Vikings. Yes, he was their starter all last season, but remember this game, they played week 2 of the preseason last year. Teddy Bridgewater was the starter before that horrific knee injury in practice, or leg injury in practice. And they traded for Bradford from the Eagles right before the start of the regular season.
Get the ball out. Makeshift offensive line. Left tackle, left guard did not make the trip. Saw that on that first completion. He's going to play on rhythm tonight. Also watch for a lot of screens.
Bradford underneath, pass caught. Good enough for another first down on the play. Stephon Diggs with the reception.
That's Minnesota doing what a lot of teams have done. We talked about it in the open. The 3 guys are familiar in the Legion of Boom. The one that's not gets picked on. That offensive line, there is no Riley Reif. There is no Alex Boone. The rookie 3rd-round pick, F-line, is going to step into the role at center. A group that had a hard time protecting the Buffalo a week ago. This is a front 4 with this noise for the Seahawks. It should be able to create some pressure.
Here's a handoff taken by Dalvin Cook. Picks up 3 yards on the run. You talked about it, that left side missing. The Seahawks defensive line salivating over not only the left side of the offensive line missing, but you mentioned also a rookie starting at center. And there you see this week, Dewey McDonald gets the start in place of KJ Wright with a knee procedure, as Pete Carroll put it. So he's not playing today, expected to be back in practice this week.
And Shaq Griffin the first couple snaps here, and he subs out. Jeremy Lane subs in. Going to be continued movement at that corner spot.
Bradford under pressure, flushed out of the pocket. And runs out of bounds. Dewey McDonald, the nearest Seahawk, but 4 yards on the run by Bradford.
And this is the down and distance. Good opportunity here for Dewey. He's 4th-team in his young career here in the NFL. He's been a safety, he's been a linebacker. He can play any of the linebacker spots. Nice job having the eyes and the awareness there to chase Bradford out of bounds. But this is the down and distance. Los Angeles, the Chargers converted 3 of them last week. on their touchdown opener, that scoring drive. Seahawks want to get off the field on third down.
Crowd gets loud. Empty backfield. Quick pass by Bradford. Stephon Diggs hung on. Wow. Big hit by Earl Thomas, but after the 5 yards and the first down, Diggs somehow hangs on to it.
That was a highly caffeinated hit. Stephon wearing those fancy Starbucks shoes on the other side, and you are throwing right into the teeth. That's Bobby Wagner. That's Earl Thomas. He's reading everything right in front of him. He wanted a splash hit. He told us that yesterday. He got it on the opening drive.
Bradford again. Back to pass. Downfield, caught from behind, but another big play. This time it's Stephon Diggs with the catch. Vikings suddenly picking it up in big chunks. 39 yards on that one.
Yeah, and this is going to frustrate the Seahawks #1 defense. They wanted to get off the field here, and that is just zone coverage. You see Earl underneath, but no protection, nobody in the face of Sam Bradford. He can extend that play. He takes a shot eventually, but when you're triple hitching like that, hard to maintain that zone coverage. Jaron Reed, a good shot on him, but another chunk play, in Minnesota marching right down the field as the Chargers did a week ago.
Down to the 12-yard line. Dalvin Cook. Penalty markers on the field as well.
False start. Offense, number 82. 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
Tight end Kyle Rudolph.
Getting
help out the Seahawks.
Getting off the field, Kurt, on that third down. It was an enormous collision, but they made the play. You get into those 3rd and 3s, and that is the area for that Seahawks defense. And a lot of teams play so conservatively against them. They get into the third downs, got money down, and you got to find a way to get off the field. That collision's got to be a little more. That ball's got to be ripped out to force the punt. And instead, they keep the tempo going, march it here into the red zone. It's now 4 for 4 on third downs against the #1 defense in these 2 games.
Yeah, the Chargers were 3 for 3 last week. It's after the 5-yard penalty, first down from the 17. Little screen pass intended for Cook, but he was down, the ball was down, nothing worked right on that.
Tough to screen man coverage, and tougher to even screen more Bobby Wagner. There's just not many 250-pound linebackers that got the twitch that he has. And you want that zone, you want zone on a screen pass. You're anticipating that, let them drop underneath, the linemen get out. But Bobby diagnosed that. Pete knows that he's got the best middle linebacker in the game, led all the NFL in tackles a year ago. He got that one in man coverage right away.
Cook takes the handoff, dances, but right into the arms of Michael Bennett.
Shoulder pads look even smaller, maybe.
His pads are always small on him.
Yeah, if you lose at the point of attack right there, if Michael Bennett gets his hands on you first, as he does Berger there at the right guard, you've got no opportunity to move him. He loves it. And here you go. There's another third down situation that you have got to find a way to win.
3rd and long, needing 15 yards. They can get a first down at the 2. Ball's on the 17.
And the rookie to the top of the field, the rookie corner Griffin.
Flags before the ball was snapped.
Delay a game. Offense. 5-yard penalty, remains third down.
Well, the Vikings got down to the 12-yard line and started to go backwards. Mike Zimmer, now in his 4th season as the head coach of the Vikings. He's good to see him back on the sideline. He's had 8 eye surgeries since the middle of last season. But able to fly now and expected to be with the team all year long. Here's Bradford on 3rd and long, under pressure, dumps it off. Cook just tries to get as many yards as he can. Terrence Garvin and Jeremy Lane with the stop.
Just too deep there, a really soft, too deep zone. You're going to keep everything in front and run and chase, and there's a way to win a third down. Get to 3rd and 20.
Yeah, that helps.
And leave nothing on the field but the check down.
So set up a field goal attempt as the Vikings try to get points on their opening possession. Marshall Kane, he's in a kicking battle with Kai Forbath. On to try it from 29 yards out. Flags down.
Illegal formation on the defense covering up the center. This penalty's been declined. The result of the play, the field goal is good.
So the 29-yarder from Kane counts. So each team scores on its opening possession. A touchdown for the Seahawks, a field goal for the Vikings. Russell Wilson gets chance number 2 after this.
Oh, I have. Big Toyota fan.
J.D. McKissick, guy who can do a little bit of everything, back to take this kickoff. Play receiver, returner, running back.
He's smooth at doing every one of those jobs.
He can take a knee. Whatever you ask him.
I'll tell you what, that feels good for Russell. This Minnesota defense shut him out. It was a big goose egg in the first 2 quarters. A season ago in this week 2 of the preseason, had a hard time establishing the run, got sacked 6 different times. I want you to watch a few things here. Just watch the pacing and tempo. Look where the Seahawks align that offensive huddle from the line of scrimmage, just about 2.5 yards away from the ball. And they're ready to jump on it, get on the ball, and they want to establish their rhythm and tempo.
Why so close? No answer from the quarterback. Wilson. Doug Baldwin. Open field. Another big chunk play for the Seahawk offense. And another big catch for Doug Baldwin.
How about the protection? You're going to see Doug Baldwin back in that very familiar slot area of the field, and he just turns around. Mackenzie Alexander, welcome to the NFL. Welcome to trying to defend a guy that can run full speed and make those kind of cuts and moves. He didn't even have to get on his toes. Usually receivers want to get on the toes of the defender before they turn them. His quickness has got Minnesota reeling.
They pick up 37. Here's Chris Carson. And the rookie picks up a couple of yards. I guess you were talking to other people not paying attention to me.
Oh, I'm sorry. They were only 2.5 yards away.
Yeah, no, why so close to the line of scrimmage?
It is to just get up and get going. So you can quick snap if you want to. You know you play. You want to get right on the ball and get that formation set. You know, this is a group that's not no huddle. But Darrell Bevell, as he was talking to us yesterday, Kurt, just about getting going. You know, and Russell loves to play fast and step on that accelerator. So familiar in this system.
Back to pass. Flushed out. And throws that one away. You know, when we were playing sandlot football, you always worried about being too close to the defense so they could hear what play you were calling.
Sure.
You don't worry about that at this level?
No, I don't think so. No, I really don't. It's hard for that sound to carry out. Those are big men in that huddle. Fan, Fetty, Justin Britt, the rest of those guys. You'll see many times in high school. Those guys line up 5 yards and then they trot to the line, gives the defense opportunities to get everything set. Bevel likes the familiarity his quarterback has in this system and how quickly and with how much tempo they can play.
On 3rd and 9, Wilson down. And you talked about how good Donnell Hunter is. And there he shows you 12.5 sacks last year. Now in his 3rd season.
Yeah, those 3rd and obvious pass situations, you're going to see Fetty playing right tackle, and he just opens the door. You know, he is a big body transitioning from right guard to right tackle. And when you just open the door for someone as athletic as Hunter there to get his long arms on you and right by you, really from both sides, collapsing it. I would love to see Fetty come out and punch that guy a little bit more, create a little bit more space, use your power instead of being challenged by some of your liability, which is your feet.
Marcus Sherrills takes the punt from John Ryan, steps out of bounds.
Especially on that offensive line, within that running back crew, wide receivers, you've already seen Kaysen make a couple explosive plays. Jeremy Lane is coming in and out with Shaq Griffin. He's missed some time here in training camp, so trying to get to health. And knowing he's got some young guys that are really pushing, and Tremaine Brock has been signed this week. Talked about that in the open. There is a very familiar face on the other side in Richard Sherman, and that is why you get picked on when you play opposite 25.
First down from the 20-yard line. Dalvin Cook scoops through a hole, and the rookie out of Florida State picks up 15. Earl Thomas with the tackle.
He's explosive. They've had a pretty explosive back in Minnesota for a lot of years, and he's not Adrian Peterson. He's not as big. He's a better pass catcher. He's incredibly productive at Florida State. He's a 3-down running back. With the injuries right now to both McKinnon and Murray, he's going to get his work this preseason.
Gets it here. Back-to-back carries, back-to-back nice runs.
And back-to-back creases. It's not often that you see double-digit yard runs backed up by a 9-yard run against one of the best rush defenses in the NFL. Give some credit here to that Minnesota makeshift offensive line. They are winning. That's Mike Remmers, the big right tackle. He gets on top of Cliff. That's Berger right there getting to the second level on the linebacker.
The Vikings look content to let the first quarter run out. So each team scored on its opening drive. The Seahawks forced a punt on their second drive, rather. And right now, the Vikings have it for the second time as we get ready for the second quarter here in this second game of the 2017 preseason. 7-3.
You're just not used to it here in Seattle. Those two guys in the interior, Reed and Tuba, and the rotation they've had through the years typically make it very difficult. So much congestion then for the linebackers to clean up. With this Minnesota offensive line, I was talking to a lot of their personnel and folks before the game that covered the team, and there was some real concern about coming in this building and trying to block this crew without Riley Reif, without Alex Boone. They're doing a nice job keeping Bradford clean and establishing the run.
Dalvin Cook alone in the backfield on second and short. He gets the carry. And through a hole again. Earl Thomas with another stop. Cook just 3 runs in a row. Just finds a way to get through that offensive and defensive front.
Well, the only way that happens is if your offensive line, that initial contact. We saw Michael Bennett earlier win. But you're going to look at the double team there. That's not K.J. Wright. K.J. Wright is out. Terrence Garvin comes in. You can see him just get manhandled at the point of attack, and Earl's there. He's the last line of defense to clean it up.
Another 9-yard pickup. 6 carries, 39 yards for Cook. On first down, they give it to him again. This time, stopped maybe a yard past the line of scrimmage. Bobby Wagner, you mentioned, led the league in tackles last year. Didn't miss one there.
Well, Garvin can get run over on the previous play, but Bobby Wagner's not going to get run over. And I think he's going to finally say enough is enough, and you can just watch the quick middle linebacker re-diagnose in his textbook. You know, I was watching them in practice last week do a tackling drill, Kurt, and they had a guy, one of their assistant coaches, without pads, and he just threw him right off the pad. And he's got a commercial in town where he equally hits a guy without pads. It's just not fair. Let's see the damage he does to NFL running backs, let alone laymen.
It's what he does. With Bradford up top. Broken up, incomplete, intended for Stephon Diggs. There's Richard Sherman right there to swat it away.
I think Sherman's saying, you're really going to throw a go out on me? Aren't you supposed to pick on the other side? Actually, a little double move, and look at the pro. He doesn't hesitate. He doesn't flinch. He's in position.
Yeah.
If it isn't for Diggs coming back and knocking that ball away. I always talk about big corners. And especially once you stretch above 6 foot, how hard it is change of direction. That's a double move, a little hitch and go. And you see a technician there teach a long, lanky corner how to do it.
That's what it was. Diggs was the one who actually swatted it away. Here on third down, Bradford. incomplete. Dalvin Cook, the only Viking over in that area, and he threw it way over his head.
That's set up by Bobby. That first down run stop. That defense needed it. Right, there's no KJ Wright. You're moving Dewey McDonald. You're giving Terrence Garvin a look. You're bringing in some of these linebackers to play with that #1 group. And it's different with the ones. You're facing ones on the other side. You know, Garvin a week ago against some of the backups flourished. But when you're with the ones, it's a tick faster. And Bobby really set that stop up with that first down collision.
Ryan Quigley, one-time Arizona Cardinal on the kicking. J.D. McKissick standing inside his 10. Oh, he fumbled it. Muff return, covered up and saved by Nico Thorpe. Well, Bobby Wagner and the Seahawks defense did its job. We'll see what the offense can do with their third opportunity of the night. Had off-season surgery before coming here and signing that one-year deal, playing on an ankle that had plates, and wires, and screws, and everything in it. Part of the reason he only made it through 5 games last year was that bad ankle.
Saw 3 consecutive carries and moved the chain, a 3rd and short. Bring that intimidation back to the run game. A real focal point, I think, of this offseason. Thomas Rawls is out. He's had a tremendous camp. In some ways, been one of the stories of camp. See Thomas on the sidelines, banged up ankle. Priority to get more physical in the run game.
Lacey's a guy who can do it. There's a big pile to try and stop him. He gets 3 yards. But this running back core is, you know, going to be won by committee. But these guys got a little bit of a different style.
It's got to be one that stays healthy. Right, I think indicative even tonight as you look at Rawls and Procise, unfortunately, practice all week, just could not go. And last year, so many running backs right off the street coming in here. This is a system that relies on some timing in that zone scheme and that stretch scheme that they love to play.
Lacey deep in the backfield. Catch the pass coming out of it. A couple moves out to the 20-yard line. Remember Richard Sherman on that pass play that was broken up by Diggs? Seemed to be a little slow getting up. He's inside that injury tent, which is new in the NFL. They've been doing it in college football for a while, but he's over there with the doctors being checked out right now.
Kind of epitomizes him, doesn't it? Stays in that next play, doesn't come off the field, wants to get off the field. Get that offense the ball back.
Keep you updated on his condition, obviously. Wilson on 3rd down. Pass caught McKissick. And J.D. McKissick moves the chains. Mackenzie Alexander tripped him up after a 6-yard gain.
And this is where they want to live. 3rd and 9, it's very vulnerable for your tackles out on the edge, your young, inexperienced tackles. 3rd and 4 or 5, it leaves you everything open. And just a nice little concept here, the little rub route. The Seahawks love to do this. And McKissick's going to just time it. You let those 2 defenders pick themselves. And that's the ideal scheme, is you allow them through your timing and your mechanism to run into each other, create that separation and move the sticks.
Here's Chris Carson. Gets around the edge. You know, you look at that run there. He picked up 6 yards on it, but kind of showed what he is. A little combination of speed, power, whatever's necessary at the moment.
It's the acceleration. I think that's what's going to set him apart. You know, Eddie Lacy's the 250-pound thumper. Carson's 218 pounds, but he accelerates. He gets to that top speed so quickly. Some of the Rawls in that variety, and you can't have enough backs.
He's got size that Rawls doesn't. He steps out, Eddie Lacy, deep in the eye. He gets the carry. And outside, and 1st down. So the Seahawks really running the ball. Injured player down on the sideline, injured Viking. Looks like their linebacker Ben Gedeon.
I highlighted Ifedi earlier and some of the challenges possibly in pass protection in those 3rd and passing downs and 9 yards. But look at that. I mean, that is why he is here. He is here because Tom Cable wants people that can move others off the ball. Using that size, using those long arms, using the strength to your advantage. His challenge is to do it every single play and to build upon his wins. Yeah, you lose on a pass rush, but play to your strengths, win on the run game.
Outside line, Richard Sherman was in that tent being examined earlier. He's sitting down on the bench, well, standing up now on the bench. He has a smile on his face. So we take that to be a positive sign. First down for the Seahawks at their own 39-yard line. Quick zip. Jermaine Kearse takes it into Viking territory. Emmanuel Moreeeee with the tackle, 19 yards on the pickup by Kearse.
Some really good timing on a couple of occasions. Doug Baldwin on an in-breaking route. Very similar here with Jermaine. He's inside. He's just creating. You feel that zone coverage. You want to get in front of the safeties, deep enough behind the linebackers so the QB that you've played pitch and catch with for 6 years can put it on your numbers.
To the Viking 41. Penalty before the snap.
False start. Offense, number 78. 5-yard penalty. Remains. First down.
Luke Jokel named the starting left guard this week going into the regular season. That competition's over. First penalty of the night for the Seahawks.
He played solid. I mean, that interior pass protection tonight, as good as you can do. Also able comfortably to see down the field, step up into that pocket.
Jokel, number 2 pick overall in the draft back in 2013 by the Jacksonville Jaguars. Empty backfield. The running back Chris Carson spread out left, wide to the left. Wilson pulls it down. Slides. Give him 2 yards.
You know, and unlike a year ago in this game where that pocket collapsed, even on that third down sack earlier, that time Fant was playing that left tackle spot, who continues to me to be one of the most intriguing stories in the NFL. I mean, you just can't say it enough. I mean, it's one thing to transition from a power forward to be a tight end, but you have never played the game, play 8 snaps or so as a backup tight end, transition to one of the most difficult positions in the league. Good job of running his defender around and allowing Russell to step into the pocket.
From the shotgun, Wilson, quick pass, and it's caught. Marcus Lucas, and Fant is down. And you just mentioned what a great story he has been. Added 20 pounds to try and be more durable this season. Unfortunately, he's yet to get up here. Let's see what happened. Got rolled into. I think Dustin Britt hit that right leg. They'll check him out. We'll be back. Staff still attending to George Fant. You can see they're pumping up an air cast for that right leg. Here's another look at what happened.
See Fant here. We highlighted him earlier, and Britt's going to come over to just clean up and help. Be a good center, be a good teammate here. Unfortunately, it's a friendly fire back into the lower leg as George's foot is planted. And those players know instantly. Bishop Sankey a week ago tore his ACL third quarter of the Minnesota game. You could tell he's very similar motion, helmet to the ground, frustration.
You see Britt going over and giving him a hug. Again, it shows you how close this team is. And it's just one of those things.
Shows you how instantly things change.
Yeah.
Left tackle or left guard said they have been so impressive through mini camps and transition into training camp. Now more than likely Jokel's going to slide out to left tackle. Reese Odiambo is going to slide into that left guard spot.
I mean, it was just yesterday that Fant was named the starter for week 1. And here a little more than 24 hours later, he's being carted off with his leg in a cast. As you pointed out, Jokel moves out to left tackle, which is where he played mostly in Jacksonville. Reese Odiambo comes in at left guard. Now on third down, Russell Wilson. Pass intended for Casey Williams, broken up by Marcus Sherrill. And it's always hard whenever both teams, but particularly when you see your teammate to go out.
Yeah.
That first play always is just a little sluggish, often.
You just feel terrible. Your head coach is out on that field. Pete Carroll is out there. Russell Wilson, bended knee right next to him. And here's some of the strength of Blair Walsh's leg. 53-yard attempt.
Gets good leg on it. Hits the crossbar. No good.
You can see that little smile. 53 is no challenge for a guy that puts the kickoffs out of the end zone. Who at one point hit more 50-yarders consistently than anybody in the league. Hits it right down the middle. Accuracy is just fine.
Yeah, nothing you can do, Pete. Just watching it, and as you said, his leg is strong enough as a rookie. Had 4 50-plus yard field goals to lead the league. And he's really struggled as much mentally as physically the last 2 years. And against his old team, misses one from 53 yards out. So Minnesota takes it over with good field position at their own 43-yard line. Bradford throws it. Diggs, and Stephon Diggs just across the first down marker. 10-yard gain and a first down.
And that's the third occasion now in front of the rookie. And this is where you're going to be tested if you're Shaq Griffin. Patience and discipline. Patience and discipline. Those are the words constantly echoed by Chris Richard, secondary coach, the entire defense. Hard to do. You want to close. You want to keep everything in front of you. And there comes a time that these corners, they too get frustrated.
Third-round pick out of Central Florida. Bradford up the top again. Michael Floyd, and it's incomplete. There's, this time, Griffin breaks it up.
Well, that's exactly why Pat Shermer, the offensive coordinator for Minnesota, calls this play. They've been picking on the rookie, and he's going to guess that that rookie's going to get jumpy, that he's going to squat and be overly aggressive, but he's patient, he's disciplined. He goes up at the reception point. He doesn't go up with his eyes and hands till the receiver does. It's in to disrupt. I don't think he catches it inbounds either way. That's the kind of coverage, the kind of discipline necessary at that position.
Jerick McKinnon hit in the backfield. Didn't even make it back to the line of scrimmage. Wrapped up almost immediately by Marcus Smith. Former #1 pick of the Philadelphia Eagles, now trying to make it with the Seahawks. And that's where we talked about it last week. The backups for the Seahawk team now are a lot of veterans that have played in other places, particularly at that linebacker spot. Smith with the Eagles, Garvin with the Steelers and Redskins, Will Hoyt with the 49ers, Jerick McKinnon out of the backfield. Gets a block downfield, but not going to be nearly enough for the first down. Gets stopped way short. Bobby Wagner, Earl Thomas, Shaq Griffin, all converged on it.
Pretty easy to get off the field. 3rd and 19 earlier in the red zone. 3rd and 15 in that occasion. A very similar, just very soft 2-deep zone. Opportunity to come up in collision. I like that too. You see that exchange from Pete Carroll? Okay, they throw a curl route in front of you. That's going to happen sometimes. It's going to happen to Richard on the other side. You just got to continue to trust and trust your leverage, trust your technique. And when they took a shot at you, you finished and delivered.
Taylor Semenk on the punt for the Vikings. McKissick back deep again. Then the only return guy for Seattle tonight in both kicks and punch. Makes the fair catch right at the 19-yard line. Just over 6 minutes left here in the first half. Each team scored on its opening possession. And that's been it so far. 7-3. Seahawks on top. Beautiful night here in the Pacific Northwest. Perfect football weather, about 70 degrees, cloudy.
You've taken that ferry to Bainbridge, right?
Many a time. Every time I come here. Luke Jokel will stay at left guard now. And move Reese Adiambo out to left tackle, replacing the injured George Fant. And right off the bat, Chris Carson with a nice run.
Well, those two can't do it any better. You're right, you kind of maybe a little sluggish after that injury, but watch these two. Watch Jokel and then watch Odiambo get to that second level. Get onto that linebacker, and Chris Carson's got the speed and the acceleration to beat that edge defender. That's what they love about him. You'll see come right into your screen. Last week he ran through a defensive tackle. When you could outrun that leverage, that containment on the backside speaks to your acceleration.
13-yard run by Carson. Wilson with time. He's looking for somebody downfield. Flags come flying as Russell Wilson throws that one away.
It's going to be a hold.
Yep, every time.
Holding, offense number 75. 10-yard penalty, repeat, first down.
We'll pre-check. As we start to see some of the backups in there, but
no, I'm
not sure he's on the field.
I think that was a Fetty. I like this.
76, there you go.
And I like some of that conversation that umpire is going to have, or the back judge is going to have with those offensive linemen. You can do that in the preseason. This is why your hands are outside.
So that should have been on 76. Doesn't matter. Carson wrapped up immediately. Jaleel Johnson, 4th-round pick out of the University of Iowa for the Vikings.
He's had a good camp. One of the folks around the Vikings, there's Tom Cable. Just wonder, can they flush it? Can they flush that injury as quickly as you have to? And I'm sure someone as experienced as Tom is already thinking now about how we're going to work that left side and how much Reese Odiambo. Are we going to look at Luke Jokel? He's so comfortable as Jokel, and Cable loved the way he played there. A season ago, just 4 games at that position with Jacksonville.
Wilson under pressure, throws to the middle of the field. Caught. Nick Vanette. And the 2nd-year tight end out of Ohio State with a 32-yard reception.
I think a lot of folks waiting for Nick Vanette to show up. You see it in practice. You also see again a pocket collapse as Fetty opens that door and allows the contact on Russell. But you give Russell just enough time to get the ball out of your hand, and Nick almost split that. He was a 3rd-round pick. There is some real optimism about what he can do. Waiting for him to just cut it loose, let it go, make a play. That's exactly what he did.
To the 45 of the Vikings. Wilson again. Home. Big hit. Amara Darbo, pardon me, the 4th-round pick out of Michigan, had his hands on it, but was hit big time by Anton Exum. That ball just came flying. Ouch.
And Russell's running down to him because he knows that safety was sitting right in the middle of the field. And I call college games, Kurt, and that more than likely is a penalty in the college game. You launch, you target, and you hit above the shoulder pads in the collegiate game. That's going to be a penalty. Not so at the NFL level with Exum.
Wilson up top this time. Down the sideline. Underthrows it. Tried one of those back shoulder throws, but it falls incomplete. Jabari Price there running step for step with Casey Williams. One of the rare catches he doesn't make.
Can't protect it any better. Seattle loves these deep play action passes, especially when they have confidence. All hands on deck. Running backs in to help protect, and that's a play that Casey can make. And he knows it. And he knows. He came down, he covered, he already had a couple tremendous plays. And the one that's simply looking at him too long in the air, right? Those reaction plays go up and get it. A little bit different than that one that is sitting in the air forever to come down.
3rd long. Out of the backfield, Chris Carson. 1st down and more. You see that burst after catching it, that first step, and he's gone. 17.
Yeah, there's a lot of conversation. CJ Prosise was sick the first couple days of training camp. All of a sudden you looked out there and you're like, is that Prosise? Or is that, who is that, 22, 32? Well, very difficult in the practice field to tell them apart because they're both really adept at doing that. Catching and going, looking like a wide receiver playing running back. What an advantage.
Now he gets the carry. Carson fights his way out to the 23-yard line, gain of 5. And here's a guy, 2nd leading rusher at Oklahoma State, missed 4 games last year with an injury, and that's probably the only reason he lasted until the 7th round.
Yeah, Pete loved him, and you can see him, plenty athletic. And typically, the bigger you get, some of that athleticism dips at running back. The really unique ones are 215, 220, and still show that caliber of athleticism.
Handoff. Ball taken by Mike Davis, former 49er. The leading rusher last week, got the most opportunities in running back for the Seahawks. Nowhere to go this time. Stephen Weatherly will stop. Davis is part of that deep stable that at least in the preseason the Seahawks have at running back right now. Approach the 2-minute warning. Pressure. Davis out of the backfield. There he goes into the end zone for the touchdown. .22 yards on the scored run by Davis.
And if I see it from the booth, you know Russell is going to diagnose that at the line of scrimmage real quickly. A bust there for Minnesota. They like to pressure. They like to bring their linebackers up. Either that defensive back has to peel, the end has to peel. There's miscommunication between the backups. Good for you, Mike Davis. A little hesitant on that first run he had. You could see him kind of hit his shoulder pads and know that he could be more aggressive and to pay it right back to get your chance to get into the end zone. And does that rock the ball to sleep?
Put the baby to sleep. Extra point added by Blair Walsh. Seahawks get a touchdown pass to Casey Williams on their first possession. The last time they touched it, Russell Wilson with his second scoring pass of the day. This time, 22 yardage. And it's 14-3.
Morning, Seahawks football is presented by Washington's Lottery and Seahawks Fever Scratch. You can win 50 grand or 2018 season tickets for two. Go to WALottery.com for details. Aaron Levine alongside Dave Wyman. And Dave, nice to see the Seahawks second score there after that tough injury to George Fant.
Yeah, that was really disappointing with George, but a couple young guys that did it last week we needed to see step up in week 2. Chris Carson and Casey Williams, both having a great preseason so far.
We'll have more stats, analysis, and highlights coming up at the half, but let's head back to the booth and join Kurt and Brock.
All right, we'll see you guys at halftime. There's Rodney Adams taking the kickoff. A lot of dancing. Stopped at the 26-yard line. Mike Morgan with the tackle. Change at quarterback. Case Keenum now in for the Vikings. Russell Wilson's had a good night.
Sure has. You like to see that mix of run and pass. You love as a quarterback. Two occasions there. Your two biggest pass plays were little swing routes. And Nick Van Nett down the field as well on the seam. 13 of 18, 206, couple hits. In that pocket collapsing around him a few occasions. Also some other occasions with tremendous time and space around him. Very efficient first half for Russ.
This has been the first time we've seen wholesale changes for both teams. Keenum gets it out to the tight end David Morgan, and Morgan going to be out near that first down marker. Eventually wrestled down to the ground. Hurry up offense. Lano Hill with the tackle on that last play. First down. Keenum underneath. And the pass is caught by Jarius Wright. Right back to the line of scrimmage.
David Bass, very effective. I like these number 2s. Cassius Marsh, David Bass. Two guys very capable of doing damage, rushing the passer.
Both teams with all 3 timeouts. Here comes the pressure. Keenum gets it off. And it's caught. Stacy Coley. And Coley going to pick up the first down before being forced out by Shaq Griffin.
Rookie on rookie. Miami on Central Florida there. Coley, a late round draft pick, 7th round pick for them. He's had a nice camp. It's a fine line that these corners walk. You know, Richard Sherman, you look on the other side, is arguably the best in the game. Right, he's able to do both, keep everything in front of him, yet somehow play very tight coverage, still make a play on the ball. Shaq still learning, doing a nice job of keeping everything in front of him. Let's close that cushion.
6 yards sets up the first down. Keenum throws too high for Coley, incomplete. Went right back to the well. The rookie couldn't bring it in this time.
That's now, at least by my count, 5, 6 different occasions They're going to get after Shaq, and there's nothing better for him. Sam Bradford did it early at the beginning of the game. First 2 pass routes. I'm not going to Richard Sherman. I'm going to throw this and test this other rookie on the other side. 2 pretty efficient.
Well, that's what you're going to see all year long, is to play opposite.
And this is what you want. If you're Richard Sherman, you know, in that Legion of Boom, you're Pete Carroll, you're Andre Curtis, the secondary coach, this is what you want for your rookie.
Keenan broken up by Griffin this time as they go to Coley once again. Griffin says, yeah, okay, keep coming this way.
Yeah, turned around on the previous out route. Now you're trying to run a little slant route here. And you're out on that island. Really nice job early with that arm. And Richard Sherman to some degree, didn't it? Right off that press, getting that arm into the receiver of Stacy Coley. And coming back, we've seen it on a couple occasions, playing the ball right to the reception point.
Everybody you talk to with the Seahawks says Griffin is a rookie, but he certainly doesn't carry himself like one. Acts like he expects to be out there. Flags, early movement by the Seahawks. Free play by Keenum. He winds up just throwing it out of bounds.
Look at the sidelines, because they know it. Cliff Averill knows it, Earl knows it, Doug knows it, they all know it. Richard knows it. Yeah,
offside, defense number 97 was in the neutral zone at the snap. 5-yard penalty, and repeat, 3rd down.
And if you think this is tough with Case Keenum and Sam Bradford, hey man, you're gonna have to do it against Aaron Rodgers week 1 in Green Bay. And we've seen that matchup and what Aaron Rodgers does. He's played whole games not throwing it 2-5.
Marcus Smith was the guilty Seahawk. Makes 3rd down movement shorter for Minnesota. Keenum goes the other way this time. Pass is caught. Jarius Wright. Delano Hill with the stop. 6 yards on the pickup. And Minnesota uses its first timeout.
This is good. This is a lot of man-to-man coverage on this drive. And you just like to see it. You need to see DeAndre Elliott play the nickel. And that time, one of the tougher concepts. It's 3rd and 5. You expect some man-to-man coverage. They run a little shallow cross. DeAndre's underneath it. Delano comes and helps over the top. Nearly forces that incompletion. But these are the evaluation periods, and you want to see these guys go toe-to-toe. You're going to count on DeAndre Elliott. You're going to count on Delano Hill. You're certainly going to count on Shaq Griffin. 2-minute drive. Case Keenum been in this league. 11 of 18 last week with Buffalo. He's a capable quarterback in this league, and you want to see your youngsters these kind of opportunities.
Yeah, a guy who's made 24 starts in the NFL, Keenum has, including the first 9 last year with the Rams before Jared Goff took over. He's under pressure. Stumps that one off, incomplete. Seahawks bringing the heat right out of the gate.
A little screen pass there, and David Bass feels it. I think that's the 4th screen pass from Minnesota. You knew you were going to get that when you're a hyper-aggressive group feeding off this crowd and that pass rush at home.
Four-man rush. Jarius Wright caught, but hit big. Delano Hill lowers the boom. Minnesota calls its 2nd timeout. Hill, a young man, 3rd-round pick out of Michigan. You asked the question the other day. You're like, do you think Delano likes to hit? I think you got the answer right there.
Yeah, and I wrote it down right here on this little sheet of mine. Chris Richard said, and this is what you want to hear if you're a defender, he likes to strike.
Coil, uncoil. You think Richard Sherman liked it?
We just see this every preseason, and it never gets old to me. It just never gets old to see some of the best in the game support these rookies, to encourage them to be some of their biggest cheerleaders. Man-to-man.
Here comes the blitz. Keenum gets rid of it. Caught by Michael Floyd. Looks like he might be just short of the first down here. No. Where they put it, it's going to be close. You see, they backed it up, so he's about a yard short.
Minnesota, this is their third and final charge timeout of the half. With the game clock operator, reset the game clock to 14 seconds. 14, thank you.
So Tony Corrente explains everything to you. 4th down, 14 seconds left. Mike Zimmer not happy with the spot.
You can see him. You move the sticks, right? He was looking over there, and you want to try to salvage that timeout because now the quarterback cannot take a sack. With 12 seconds, it was always about 18, yeah, and here you go. You're going to see the field goal. It was always about 18 seconds. We would practice the drill to be able to run a play and get the field goal unit on. When you're at 12 seconds, there's an awful lot of risk involved. So you see Mike Zimmer say, nope, get my crew having to burn that timeout. The team coming right on the field.
Kai Forbath on. Try one from 51 yards away. Well, it's not 48 points like last week, but I think Pete Carroll will be pretty pleased with the way his first team played tonight. Unfortunately, losing your left tackle, George Fant, will be a concern, but otherwise, not bad.
Yeah, a few runs. He's going to be disappointed in some of those early runs that Dalvin Cook had, double-digit yardage runs. You don't like to see those at home. Good timing with the pressure there. DeAndre Elliott as well. Showed some of that quickness. If you're going to play nickel, you have got to come up on those underneath routes.
And the time out on the field is because Tony Corrente and the officiating staff back in New York are checking out whether or not this was properly marked, because it's a 4th down play that would determine a 1st down if not. So the official review is underway. Coaches can't challenge the last 2 minutes and don't need to on spotting the football on 4th down. Get to see, in case you haven't seen it so far this preseason, the new mechanism. They bring the tablets out at the 20-yard line. The referee takes a look. He's on the headset talking to the officials in New York who will help make the decision whether or not the call stands or should be overturned.
As it sits now, the ball is at the 33-yard line. Gets this 1st down here, you're still going to be in that dilemma. There's still going to be that risk factor. I think Case Keenum is going to say, and you saw him having an extended conversation with offensive coordinator Pat Shurmur, that, hey, give me a shot. I can take care of the ball. I know the situation.
After review, the rolling on the field will stand. It is 4th down.
I think difficult from those shots to try to change. Could not confirm either way.
And if that's the case, the original call stands. So it stays 4th down. Forbath will try this one from 51 yards out. This one's up and good. So a pair of field goals by the Vikings is all their offense has been able to muster this evening. So far, with 9 seconds left here in the 1st half, they get a little bit closer. Yet to be able to punch it into the end zone. This is Nazir Jones. Another of those 3rd-round picks. Seahawks had 4 picks in the 3rd round. Got what they consider some quality out of it as well.
Yeah, and Pete likes this rookie class, and so do the veterans. You know, they cheerlead every year. You know, we see that with Earl and Richard and all the rest of them. But this is a group that came in here very mature. I think you see that in the demeanor as we're around this team. And Naz Jones is just a high character guy. So fun to talk to. Amara Darboh, Shaq Griffin. We've highlighted him an awful lot. There's opportunity. You know, there's opportunity for a couple of these. Naz is getting some run with the one. Shaq's getting a lot of run with the 1st team. Opportunity to come in here and play a significant role.
Good kick down the middle of the field. Cyril Grayson, former track star at LSU. Almost got away, and if he gets away, He's a 7-time All-American in track. He is trouble. And he wasn't one of the guys that was drafted. This draft class pretty deep, the Seahawks believe. And there you take a look at it. Of course, Malik McDowell out with that injury that he suffered right before training camp. But the rest of the class, we've seen these guys on the field in quite a bit at the top, especially.
And look at this, the very last guy, the one that Pete Carroll was really excited about. The Seahawks do a wonderful job of giving us some access to the phone call. They make that public. You get a chance to see it and hear it and listen to it in the reaction. And Pete was awfully thrilled that Chris Carson was still available. And although he was the last in that class, he's made one of the strongest impressions the first 2 games.
Carson and the rookies do well. So do the veterans. They played most of the first half. A half that the Seahawks were able to put up a couple of touchdown passes from Russell Wilson into the
Seahawks leading the Minnesota Vikings 14-6 at the half. As we take a look at the first half stats, Dave, and you got to love the fact that the Seahawks gathered 241 total yards in the first half, and the defense doing its normal thing, holding the Vikings to just 2 field goals as well.
Really good stuff. You like to see some turnovers in the second half. That's something that they're really good at. The other thing, too, that stands out there, Aaron, is that only 3 penalties in the first half. Pretty unusual for preseason because you're just trying to get things going. But like to see them run the ball a little bit more in the second half. But, boy, you got to like that yardage total for the first half.
What are your expectations for Trevon Boykin?
I think Boykin's going to go out and continue to be what you called a gamer, and we'll see if he can continue to do it. Again, it's about putting together back-to-back performances in the preseason. It really helps the coaches become more comfortable with the guy, and I think for Boykin, that's the side where I think he needs to make his coaches a little bit more comfortable. We know that he can go out and make plays, but can he make the responsible plays? And sometimes, chuck the ball away or just hang on to it.
A great performance at the Chargers the other night. Let's head back up to the booth for the call of the second half and rejoin Kurt and Brock.
All right, as you guys point out, it's going to be important for Boykin to try and continue there, but it's also going to be important for the Seahawks. Most of the starters we don't expect to see here in the second half, but to try and find a way to keep the rhythm they had offensively going in that first half, especially after watching George Fant go out.
Yeah, I think so, Kurt. And I'll tell you the one stat that jumped out, 6 of 8 on third down. You do that on the money down, you have that kind of productivity, you stay on the field, you extend drives, you give Russell an opportunity, to throw touchdowns, as he threw 2 of those over 200 yards. And it's pretty high standards when it comes to the Seahawk defense. Because when you look at the final numbers of Russell, 13 of 18, 206, you see the high five from his coach, exactly what he wanted. And you look at the numbers of that defense. Wow, they gave up a run here. Wow, they gave up a run there. You know what? They gave up 2 field goals. Right. And one of them over 50 yards. And less than 40 yards rushing in that first half as well. That's where the bar is set for this defense. That's where Earl wants it. That's where that group wants it. They'll still be bummed about some of the plays and allowing Sam Bradford to go up and down the field for that opening field goal drive. But ultimately, the number one thing for Coach Carroll defensively are those points. And their run over the last 4 years with their scoring defense, you can put them with anybody in the history of this league.
4 straight years at number 1, dropped down just a couple pegs to 3 last year. But that's it. Here's Rodney Adams. And the ball came out.
What did you want?
Turnover. Seahawks recover.
What did you just say?
Chris Carson forced it out. David Bass recovered it.
You just talk about takeaways.
Yes, sir.
Chris Carson. My goodness.
He's been the star of camp as a running back and now creating the turnover on special teams.
Look at the veteran Bass being aware. He knows it's not just going to be about his pass rush. If you're going to make this team on that defensive line, you have got to show out in that team's phase. Cassius Marsh, in my opinion, one of the best defensive linemen that plays in that phase of the game, and an excellent play by Bass as Carson will stay on the field now after covering the kick.
And he goes out wide to the right. Trevon Boykin officially in at quarterback. Seahawks take over at the 18-yard line. Boykin can't escape. Pocket collapsed on him. Tashawn Bauer wrapped him up.
And Bauer a sack a week ago. They like him. He's an undrafted guy out of LSU. Top of your screen here. And when that pocket collapses on both sides, you've just got to find a way to get rid of it. That's going to be the coaching point for Trevon. That's not easy. Right, you're going to come out, you're out of half, you want to make a play, you get a turnover, you call a pass play on the first play, you want to make something happen. But as you feel that pocket collapse, you've just got to find a way to throw it into the third row if you can.
His short field got a little bit longer, loss of 10 on the play. Backed up to the 28. Quick pass by Boykin, incomplete through the hands of Kenny Lawler.
A great shot from the truck here. Can't put it in a better spot. You want to put it right on that face mask. Let Kenny Lawler feel that on that slant route, feel that linebacker coming at him. He does his job. Kenny's got to finish.
Brings up a 3rd down and long. Boykin pressured again. Sacked again. Penalty markers on the play as well. But this time it was Ifedi Odenigbo dropping him for a 7-yard loss. You see they're looking over Minnesota's going to decline and keep this sack.
Offense number 70. This penalty has been declined. Result of the play creates 4th down.
There was a couple tough snaps there for Reese Odhiambo playing left tackle, and that becomes a bigger priority. You saw Reese Odhiambo go in and play left tackle when George Fant goes down. I think, unfortunately, one of the major storylines coming out of this game is George Fant comes down with an injury, carted off the field, the air cast. Odhiambo goes in at left tackle. These are important snaps for him. If Dave Wyman said Boykin's got to gain the trust, so is Reese.
Blair Walsh missed one from 53. This one from 52 goes through with room to spare. So the Seahawks take advantage of the turnover to start the second half, wind up with a long field goal and extend the lead.
Did I see Blair talk a little smack to his former team? I may be missing something. About 150 pounds soaking wet. I don't.
Not the kicker.
I don't know. He missed the earlier 50-yarder, 51-yarder. I think he gave a little something to that Minnesota sideline.
Football is here. Are you ready for new Seahawks gear? The Seahawks Pro Shop has everything you need from Nike, New Era, Mitchell & Ness, and more. With styles for every member of your home team. Shop online anytime, anywhere at Seahawks.com/Pro Shop.
Good operation here. I know Blair was disappointed. He's got plenty of leg, and he shows it here. That's good from, I think, 55, 58 yards, and yeah. Let's give a little conversation to Mike Zimmer and his staff on that sidelines.
And he kicks that one through the end zone, so now he's hyped.
You know who loves that? Dave Wyman. Old NFL linebackers love when kickers. And I love that Dave can't respond. But if you listen to his radio show and the way that Dave on Danny, Dave, and Moore talk about kickers, not the biggest fan, but you know there's some frustration with the way things ended here. I don't know how many times I've seen 160 pounds. Oh, he's looking right at him. May have been right at Mike Zimmer.
That may not be the smartest thing he's ever done. Who knows? After the touchback, Vikings start at the 25-yard line. Case Keenum still in at quarterback. Gets that one out. Coley with the catch. Stacy Coley. Dropped by Tedrick Thompson.
And you know who's still in a corner getting picked on?
Shaq Griffin.
Shaq Griffin. And chalk that one up to every single play. What did he tell us before that Chargers game? I got to get this technique down.
That infamous step kick that the Seahawks require all their cornerbacks to use. Not only different from what so many do in the NFL, but different than what these young cornerbacks have been raised doing. They're off the play fake. Pass to the tight end, Nick Truesdale. And he's knocked out of bounds by Tedrick Thompson. Back-to-back tackles for the 4th round pick.
Tedrick, like Delano, is going to come up and hit you. And I think those two guys, when I say that rookie class just epitomizes professionalism, maturity, they're 3-year starters. At Colorado for Tedrick, building it from nothing with Mike McIntyre all the way to the Pac-12 championship game a season ago. For Delano on the other side, 3-year starter for Jim Harbaugh there in Michigan. Hard-nosed kids that like to hit. And that was necessary for the number 2s in this defense.
C.J. Ham alone in the backfield, gets the carry and caught before he got back to the line of scrimmage. Bradley McDougall, another new Seahawk, but this one not a rookie. Started the last 2 years down at safety with the Buccaneers.
Made the same exact play against the Chargers. Tackle for loss a week ago, and he's 4 yards deep into the backfield. That one will probably go for no gain, not in the tackle for loss column. But he watched his Buccaneer buddies last night. They played pretty well. They're loaded at safety. People started there, as you just said. He brings that experience to the table here as well, and that's a benefit. And he's got some young rookies in the second group around him.
3rd and 3. Keenum, short pass. Rodney Adams makes it right in front of Shaq Griffin and picks up the first down. They are going after Griffin.
You think? I mean, that's got to be 10. That's at least 10 attempts that have come 2-6's way. And here's what he's not giving up. He's not giving up the big play. And as frustrating as that may be for him and feeling like you're getting picked on, Earl knows it. When you get your chance, you have just got to continue to try to be as patient as you can be, and ultimately collision that reception point and knock it out.
Terrell Newby tries to cut it back. Right back to the line of scrimmage. Otha Peters on the tackle. We talked about patience. Watch this front. Everybody just waits for it to come back to him.
Yeah, and it's the big fella right in the middle. Naz Jones with the 3 yards of penetration there. He's in the backfield. He forces that play to cut against the grain, and all that flow is there. He's building off a very successful game down in Los Angeles a week ago.
One of the great stories maybe in the entire league. C.J. Ham slips a tackle, spins his way out across midfield. Finally stopped at about the 48-yard line. We're talking about Naz Jones. He's a young man who, at the age of 14, woke up one morning, literally could not move his legs, couldn't get out of bed, wound up with a rare syndrome that it was 6 months before he was able to walk again. Had to teach himself to walk, and then obviously as a 15-year-old get back to being athletic. Wound up here in the NFL. 3rd round pick.
Grit.
Here's Keenum. Under pressure. Pass. Nico Thorpe almost picked it off. Couldn't hang on. He was there. Read it properly. Just couldn't complete it.
That's dangerous there from Case Keenum. Better initial coverage. He has to come off where he wants to go with the ball. He's late. Nico has played some time in this league. He knows a few more of those tricks that Shaq doesn't. Puts his arm around the waist, but doesn't impede the wide receiver, and then that's when he knows he can finish.
Timeout. Seattle. They're first. A 30-second timeout.
You don't see that often. Timeout when you're lining up to receive the punt, but obviously one would assume personnel's not right. So the Seahawks call a timeout to try and get that straightened out. Brian Schneider, special teams coach.
He's still trying to figure out why his kicker was sunk and smacked to the sidelines.
I'm sure they're not happy about that.
I don't know. I don't know. There's some. They let these guys be who they are.
Well, that's true, but your kicker. I mean, especially he's the only kicker on the roster, so if
he did have
anybody pulls a Buddy Ryan on him.
He did have an experience in Minnesota. I don't know if you remember that. Getting let go last year, getting thrown under the bus.
He also missed 4 field goals and 4 points in 9 games.
That's true. So do I have to put you in that camp? Are you in that camp with Howie Long and probably the rest of those defensive guys when it comes to kickers?
No, I think kickers are people too, you know. They're tax-paying citizens. They have the right to express their opinions.
During the return of the kick, holding receiving team number 49. This penalty be assessed half the distance to the goal. First down.
Cache Palacio called for the hold. They're already deep in their own territory. It'll be a little bit deeper. Nico Thorpe that close. You know what? That thing gives you the latest news, photos, and team info, plus exclusive live video. It's all delivered straight to your mobile device. Download the official Seahawks mobile app on your smartphone today.
They're all in on the bedazzle, though.
They are having a good time, aren't they? That's what happens when the home team's up in a preseason game. Starting deep in their own territory after the penalty. Mike Davis gives the Seahawks a little bit of breathing room, picking up 2 yards.
Really into the depth, the number 2s here, a group that played good last week. Gave Trevon Boykin plenty of opportunities all over the field. Odiombo is going to continue at that left tackle spot. Jordan Roos at left guard. Glowinski stays in at right guard, and keep an eye on that right tackle, Ethan Posick, as well.
Here's Davis cutting it outside. Has running room. Mike Davis out to the 45-yard line. Biggest run of the preseason for the Seahawks. 38 yards.
Well, we talk about the front side and the back side of those runs here. And so often, if you're going to get that big run and get out the gate, it is beating that backside pursuit. And they do it yet again. And that time it is Bauer, who had a nice sack earlier. He gets lost inside. Look at the lineman just fighting. Giving Mike Davis the opportunity. And by the way, Mike Davis, he can play in this league. A 4th-round pick at one point with San Francisco, also hungry to make his mark.
Davis tripped up by the turf monster. Goes down, going to lose yards on that one. Maybe those legs a little bit tired after that long run.
That may have been the quarterback. Every once in a while on that outside stretch zone play, you can clip the legs of the quarterback. But Davis, leading rusher last week, running back over 4 yards a carry. He runs hard. I mean, that's the thing when you've got 5 different guys and you don't know who's going to make this team. You're going to see Alex Collins here in the second half as well. And you watch practice, and every single rep they get is all out. And there's Alex coming in for Davis.
In the backfield right now with Boykin. Out of the backfield, Collins, who's screenplay. Now that's one thing the Seahawks have talked about trying to do this year. Get the running backs more involved in the pass game.
Well, it just makes it easier on your O-line. That was an inside little screen play. Right, so that one is a design concept to get the ball. But yes, you know, the Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, the Matt Ryan. You saw Matt Ryan take a team to a Super Bowl and how effective they were with Devontae Freeman and those backs. And take a little burden off those offensive linemen. Put the ball out of your hands.
Get those running backs out there quickly, turn around quickly, and make the catch. That is the goal. Here's Boykin. Downfield, kept his eyes there. Spotted Tanner McAvoy for the first down. 21 on the pickup.
That's a no-no by Minnesota in their zone coverage there. And 3rd and extended, 3rd and 12. You have got to keep everything in front of you. They don't. And they allow McAvoy. You see the underneath coverage there, 38. Boris Richardson, the rookie, he has got to stay underneath that corner route. He comes up. Boykin sees it immediately, and a nice big target on the sidelines to McAvoy.
To the Viking 40. Boykin, all kinds of time. Zips that one over the middle of the field, and lucky it wasn't picked off. Right into the hands of J-Rod Curse. Woo, that was close. Intended for the wide receiver David Moore.
Yeah, we saw an interception late in the game. About the only mistake that he made, and we just got done talking about the running backs, and watch them come out of the backfield here. Nice protection up front, plenty of space, but look, everything in deep safety, there's nothing there. Check it down. Check it down, Alex Collins, right in front of you. And he's got a tackle to break, and it may be 3 yards or maybe 6 yards, but on first down, I know you'd love to take a shot. You're in that part of the field, 40-yard line. That's what's called find those completions. Minimize the risk late down the middle of the field.
Lucky that wasn't intercepted. End around. Moore. Vikings sniffed that one out. J-Ron Curse in there on the tackle.
Pretty good discipline of that Minnesota group. And I know what Darrell Bevel's thinking. If I got out the gate a couple times, Chris Carson, Mike Davis, right, if I beat that backside contain just naturally with a running back, I really should get an opportunity for one of my youngsters for more there to break it outside. But good discipline from Minnesota defensively.
Loss of 6. Third down and very long. 16. Needing the 30 for the first down. Bobbled and caught, but not enough for the first. The rookie free agent Tyrone Swoops, the former quarterback at the University of Texas, trying to be a tight end in the NFL, picks up 12, but they needed 16.
All right, Blair, I think you got the attention of the Minnesota sideline.
We'll see if they have a response to his finger pointing. 52-yard attempt. He just made one from this distance last time with plenty of lag, and same thing this time. A little quieter response this field goal.
I'll tell you what else you saw right there. You asked me earlier, what do you think of a kicker? Well, not only did he walk towards that sideline yet again, you know who came out and had his back? 25. Richard Sherman is all the way across the field, and if my little 170-pound kicker's going to do it, he's going to talk noise, I'm going to have his back, and more importantly, 3 from 50 plus.
Well, other than the missed 53-yard field goal attempt, Blair Walsh has had a fun night for himself. A couple of 50-plus yarders, both from 52, and then talking a little smack to his former team, the Minnesota Vikings, as Stacey Coley brings this one from deep out of his own end zone. Unwise decision. J.D. McKissick trips him up the 10-yard line. They lost 15 yards because the ball would have been spotted at the 25 otherwise. You know, the Seahawks have done such a good job of just finding players since Pete Carroll and John Snyder took over, and there's the guy who runs everything here, the president of Seahawks First to Go, Peter McLaughlin. And, you know, one of the things that he has done is make sure every team does fan surveys at the end of the season all over the league, but that he listens to the fan, or this Seahawks organization, the voice of the fan. The Seahawks finished #1 in the entire league last season, in large part because of the work that Peter and his staff have done. Here's Case Keenum being chased. Nas Jones chases him and makes him throw it away. Good pressure from the rookie. You know, getting back to McLaughlin and this Seahawks staff, they put together President's Fan Advisory Council in order to listen to the fans and find out what they wanted here with the stadium experience at CenturyLink. And one of the things they said they wanted was more restrooms. And so the club increased toilet fixtures in the men's rooms and the upper deck by 32%. So, Brock, if you have to go during a timeout, you won't have to wait nearly as long.
They never rest, man. The organization on the field doesn't rest. This building, they're never, ever satisfied with their success.
Keenan batted in the air. And I think one of the linemen wound up catching it. It's like Jeremiah Searles.
That's the attention to detail. And you see the fan council, the advisory council right there. It is the attention to detail. The best organizations do it, the best coaches do it, and the support of Paul Allen. And Peter doesn't get nearly enough credit. It's always Pete and John, Pete and John. Peter McLaughlin right there as well, leading the way, making this fan experience the best in the NFL. Joe Buck, Troy Aikman, Chris Collinsworth, they all come through here and say the same thing. There are very few places in all the NFL quite like the experience at CenturyLink Field.
Third down. Keenan flushed out of the pocket. Caught from behind. Nas Jones. He started off this series with the pressure and ended up coming hard again. What a series for the young man.
You know, one of the favorite plays last week for Nas was his ability to chase a screen down from 30 yards. He set that whole drive up with his effort on first down. And that food and beverage, a big part of this stadium experience as well. Chef John Howie, he's got a number of restaurants in town. And he's got some food here that is off the charts. Saw it earlier, even the media. They even take care of the media in town and fed us the other day this crispy salmon. Look out.
That's some good French fries today. Seahawks actually took over concessions themselves last year. And that's made a difference. Here's J.D. McKissick. Flags down on the play as McKissick is still alive. Good return, but we'll see what the penalty marker's for. He can't get away from his teammates.
They don't have any fun, man.
During the kick, holding, receiving team number 36, 10-yard penalty, and first down.
That's on Alex Collins, so that'll be coming all the way back and then some. Well, Nas Jones did his job on that last series. It's 20-6. Dreaming fearlessly. Just under 3.5 minutes to go here in this third quarter. Mike Davis takes the first down handoff. Penalty flag on the play.
It's going to be a hold, I believe.
Holding, offense, number 70, 10-yard penalty, and repeat first down.
Reese Sadiambo. Austin Davis also in the game, the quarterback now for the Seahawks. Third QB of the night. He played well last week.
He sure did. I think he was a lot niftier than I remember him with the Rams and a number of his starts in his career, avoiding sacks, finding checkdowns. To run a little shorter outing this time around, and looks like Austin's going to get the rest of the game possibly.
His first pass attempt. Caught right across the 30-yard line. David Moore. And another flag. It's starting to look like a preseason game. You see, it's going to be holding against the Seahawks, so it's come back again.
Holding, offense, number 79. This penalty will be assessed half the distance to the goal. Remains first down.
So the rookie Ethan Posick.
And these edges are going to be the conversation. And when the national guys come in next week and do the broadcast, and that's the Chiefs, and that's Houston, and that's some guys that can really rush the passer. And Tom Cable knows Reese Odiambo, Ethan Posick, Jermaine Ifedi. Significant roles here now as your three tackles.
Justin Houston, who plays for the Chiefs. Mike Davis tries to spin his way forward for a couple of yards.
There's never a breather. You know that?
Yeah.
That's what you realize when it comes to these pass rush units around the NFL. We were down with the Chargers in LA last week, and it's Bosa and it's Melvin Ingram. Here you go, Hunter and Griffin. Right? You go to Kansas City. I mean, just Denver, all over the league, there is just so many defensive linemen. You just think in college, I get a breather, right? These kids, when they come out of college, there's maybe 2-3 tough games where you're going to face an elite guy and you get a number of breathers. Not the case in the NFL.
Empty backfield for the Seahawks. Davis under pressure again. Flushed out of the pocket. Alex Collins takes a big hit. Falls out of bounds. Horace Richardson brought the wood on that one. 9 yards on the game.
Just focus on those 2 tackles. Right, Reese again. Could have been called for a holding call. Right, just getting out there and getting set and keeping your body in front of people. That is a difficult position to play. Reese's bounce between guard and tackle. With a fan injury today, he's going to have to speed up that learning curve at tackle.
Movement before the snap.
False start. Offense number 79. 5-yard penalty. Remains 3rd down.
You know, in baseball, they talk about pitchers when the game speeds up on you. Right? You see young, inexperienced pitchers, and you can see it. They just either in body language or in their tempo, everything slows down, or the game speeds up around you. And I think both of these guys right now, Reese in a position as he's played a little bit more guard in training camp, that he's out of tackle, and Posick on the other side playing tackle. He's played some guard, he's played some center. Just got to slow down.
Here's Davis. More pressure. Steps up. Collins out of the backfield. Not much running room after he caught it. Edmund Robinson there with the stop, and he picks up 12, but they are far, far short of the first.
I think it took about 6.5 quarters before we felt a real preseason kind of drive.
Yeah.
That's a testament to Pete and the depth of this team, that we felt more of those in the first halves of games last year. Really such a run down in Los Angeles against the Chargers.
And the first half here tonight.
Yeah. It was the first one that actually felt a little bit like, yeah, you got some young guys right now that the game's getting the better of them.
Strong leg John Ryan on to boot this one. Rodney Adams backed up. Picks it up inside his 10. Well, I know you want to show what you can do in special team tape, but probably not the wisest decision. 62 yards on the punt, 9 yards on the return. Seahawks football is presented by Washington's Lottery. Play Seahawks Fever Scratch from Washington's Lottery. Catch the best fever this season. Go to WALottery.com for all the details. Final seconds of this 3rd quarter. Seahawks scored a touchdown on the opening drive. Russell Wilson put 1-yard pass to Casey Williams, and then later on, Russell threw his 2nd TD pass of the game. 2 TDs off the arm of Wilson, and the Seahawks have added a couple of 52-yard field goals off Blair Walsh's legs, and that's how you get to 20-6 as we head into the final quarter of this downs. Pete Carroll and Seattle looking to go to 2-0 on the young preseason.
This is where they stepped on the gas a week ago. When the 2s and 3s came in, it just was not competitive down in Los Angeles, extending that lead. And you know that's exactly what this group wants to do again.
Here's Case Keenum under pressure, gets rid of it, incomplete. Let's head down to the Seahawks sideline, where the Pro Bowl tight end Jimmy Graham joins us. Thanks for joining us, Jimmy.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Oh, you know, I don't know. Look, you're not on the field tonight, but we've seen you in practice, and you just look so much more fluid than you did even last year when you were in the Pro Bowl. How much better do you feel physically?
Like I said about a week ago, I mean, I feel over about 100% better. Last time I had 0 snaps at this point. I had no training camp days. I was literally just still trying to cut and still trying to manage all that pain and really all that muscle fatigue after I worked out.
What stood out to you about your camp and your team's training camp, Jimmy?
It's really everything. It really flowed this year from the offseason to training camp. I feel like we really did a great job with what we did offensively, with putting in our plan, with focusing on certain areas each and every week, and then that just really carried over to training camp. I mean, the guys have been going hard, and really, Pete really has a great formula here, you know, with taking care of guys, with rep counts with guys, with knowing guys' limits and how hard you can push them.
Jimmy, we appreciate you taking the time.
Oh, thank you so much.
All right, buddy. Thank you.
Yes, sir. See you.
All right. So a quick series for the Vikings. J.D. McKissick back to take the punt for the Seahawks. Calls for the fair catch. And, you know, we were talking to Jimmy Graham. He had a Pro Bowl season last year, just under 1,000 yards. The way he looks right now, he's looking a lot like the Jimmy Graham of old that Seattle was looking to get when they traded to New Orleans for him. Some penalty markers are marched off. But he can be a difference maker.
An eligible member of the kicking team downfield prior to the kick, number 56. Seattle has chosen the option of having the 5-yard penalty added to the end of the play. First down.
So the Seahawks will take over for the first time when we come back. Jimmy Graham, hoping to see the offense had more can be a part of the action right on the field here at CenturyLink. A limited number of field seats are still available for purchase. Visit Seahawks.com/tickets for more information.
You rock that?
I want to get that outfit. I don't know if those are pajamas or, I mean, obviously it's streetwear. You can wear it in the streets.
I feel like I should know the name of that.
I was going to say, it looks like a onesie, doesn't it?
It's a baby onesie.
It's actually pretty cool, I have to admit.
Swagasuit. Swagasuit, I bet.
Austin Davis's pass falls incomplete for Swoops.
You got to have some courage to do that. But I guess if you're rolling in the field level seats.
He's definitely wearing it for attention, you think? But he got it. It worked. And I'm not hating on him. I actually, like I said, I have to admit, I kind of like it. Oh! Austin Davis's pass right through the hands of Terrell Sinkfield, who almost had a pick six.
You're kind of seeing a little bit of what Coach Bevel was sharing with us yesterday, and that is how fast Russell plays and how the ball really never gets in harm's way. You saw Boykin earlier with a throw late down the middle, and that time to the flat, you have got to, and that's a difficult time to see if you're Austin Davis. That's to your backside. You've got to get your eyes around. Put a little bit more mustard on that one. Back-to-back possessions now at risk.
And movement on the right side.
Back possessions with penalties up front.
Number 66, 5-yard penalty, remains third down.
Darryl Brown, the rookie free agent out of Louisiana Tech.
Odiombo staying in there at left tackle. I mean, he has to. With Fant's injury earlier, he just has to continue to get these reps.
In his second year, going to be required maybe to do a lot more if Fant is out long term. Here's Davis. Scoots through a hole. Dragged down from behind by Will Sutton, but showing a little bit of mobility there is Austin Davis.
He did that a week ago as well. For 18 yards and a couple good scrambles. Had a good chat with him this week. He said, I just used to think so much. Early in my career, I just grinded. To the point where you just didn't have any freedom to play. And I think has been illustrated all over the field tonight in every phase of the game how much fun these guys have. And a breath of fresh air to come here into this program. And even Russell to come over and have a little conversation with him. I'm sure that was about that first down pass and having the awareness of that coverage.
Stacy Coley, Kenny Lawler right there.
We've seen McKissick cover. We saw Chris Carson force the fumble, the big turnover there on the kickoff coverage. Kenny Lawler's a guy that's put on 20 pounds. He knew that if he's going to make this team have a shot at it, just where the numbers sit, there is no way that he could be a one-dimensional guy. It's not going to happen. You cannot just play wide receiver. You're going to have to play the other phases. Kason Williams, the big play earlier on special teams as well. All that work, all that diet, all that time in the weight room to build your body up for moments like that.
C.J. Ham on first down. Ham going to fight his way out. Just shy of the 25-yard line. Toledo Hill with a stop. 7 yards on the run.
magazine for running back, fullback, isn't it?
Yeah. Gets it again. Stopped at the line of scrimmage. Delano Hill again. Hill, another one of those third-round picks for the Seahawks. He's already laid a big hit tonight. Made a couple of nice tackles as well. Rookie out of Michigan. Brings up the third down. Taylor Heineke, the quarterback in the shotgun, along with Ham. Heineke pressured. Pass caught. Tremaine Brock with his first tackle of the night, stopping Rodney Adams. Take another look.
Not seeing a ton of pressure to that tonight. Just again a four-man rush, but the veteran Bass, like he did a week ago to the second and third stringers of the Chargers, getting home. And Tremaine Brock, that was that same little rub route concept the Seahawks ran earlier in the game with McKissick. I kept my eyes on him. He's playing some nickel. That's some new territory for him. Got caught up in that rub route, just unable to make the play and get off the field on third down.
Vikings pick up the first. Heineke. Pass caught by Adams. Rodney Adams. After all that running around, short pickup. Tedrick Thompson stops him. 14 yards on the play. There's Tremaine Brock coming back on the field. Just signed 2 days ago. Was a member of the San Francisco 49ers. A starter there at cornerback, but in April of this year was charged with suspicion of domestic violence. So the 49ers cut him. Those charges were dropped last week. And as you said, more than 10 teams, maybe as many as 12 reportedly, asking for his services. The Seahawks wound up signing him. And here he is tonight. Ball picked off. After the tip, Tedrick Thompson with the interception. Second takeaway of the evening for the Seahawks. And it's the fourth-round rookie out of Colorado getting to celebrate.
There's a lot of congestion. Ball comes in the air. Here's what I love about this play. If Tedrick could have caught it clean, look at all of his buddies. You're taught to go to that near sideline, those defense like a punt. And if he could have caught that clean, his buddies were there to hunt up the enemy. And unfortunately, Tedrick had to bounce in his chest a little bit. Couldn't get it as clean as I know he wanted to, because he could have that peripheral vision and feel his teammates. They work on that all the time. You know, that's takeaway. They got a day set here in Seattle for takeaways.
You talk about takeaways. Remember that Super Bowl season? 39 takeaways to lead the NFL. In the 4 years since, the numbers have gone down each year, down to 19 last season. So as a point of emphasis this year, they've got 6 so far here in the 7+ quarters they played this preseason. As Collins can't even get back to the line of scrimmage on this play. But the defense and special teams creating turnovers this night.
And I was joking with Chris Richard. I said, you must have changed your whole offseason, right? You got 4 takeaways last week, a couple tonight. You do a new drill. And he just chuckled because he knows and the head coach knows. And you can preach it, you can teach it, you can designate a day for it, you can work at it. And sometimes they come in bunches. I'm a real firm believer in watching so much of their ball that a lot of it's the offenses. In 2013, they took risks, they took chances down the field, and they've learned their lessons over the years. A whole lot more checkdowns when it comes to playing the Seahawks.
Here's Austin Davis. Flushed out. Intended for Darius Rogers, off his fingertips and out of bounds. And so the Seahawks will go 3 and out.
And they tried likewise to create, just through that formation, you try to create one-on-one for your guys. And Darius helping his quarterback is coming across the formation, but that was to Cyril Grayson. Plenty of time, ample opportunity, better coverage than a route there for the youngster Grayson. He could not win on that route. forces the throwaway.
Seahawks unable to take advantage of that turnover. John Ryan with the big boot. R.J. Shelton forced out of bounds by Kenny Lawler. Back-to-back special teams tackles for him. The Seahawks trying to keep it flying high, at least for the next 8 minutes and 48 seconds. About a third of them being acquired because of the trade of that first-round pick. Thompson got the pick, as in the interception on the last defensive possession. Seahawks unable to take advantage of it, so the Vikings regain possession at the 21-yard line. Here comes the pressure. Heineke to no one.
And he had a sense John Schneider was never going to stay put with where they were drafting and parlaying and trading down and trading down and trading down and parlaying that 26th pick in the first round, and 3 trades later, look at it. Delano in that 3rd round, Tedrick in the 4th round, Mike Tyson in the 6th round, and Chris Carson in the 7th round. You need volume. You want more bites at the apple to give John Schneider, his scouting department, more opportunities, and each of them bring their own skill set. And I think for Tedrick, that's a whole lot of savvy and experience, knowing how to play the game from Colorado.
Heineke skips that one incomplete as well. Back-to-back low balls.
Yeah, Heineke's got to set his feet. Anytime you see a ball nosedive like that, he watched the other quarterbacks get hit a little bit. I'm sure he is feeling some of the presence of an O-line right now. If it was makeshift with the first group, he's going to continue to be here into the 2nd and 3rd string, but you have got to give your receivers a chance. You've got to trust your feet and fundamentals.
Practice squad the last 2 years with the Vikings out of Old Dominion. I don't see many football players out of there. Used to be a lot of basketball players out of Old Dominion. Here's Heineke on the run. Diving. Got out of bounds before he could make it to the first down marker. David Bass giving chase.
2nd, 3rd stringers with the Seahawks continuing to make life pretty miserable. And when your 5 can beat that 5-man protection, you can afford to play that soft zone. Wonderful effort there from Heineke. But not enough on 3rd and 10, and that's where those incompletions on the early downs. We saw a little bit earlier. We saw a drop with the Seahawks. We saw Boykin just not take a check down. And it's so hard in this league when you get into 3rd and 7+. As much speed on defenses to convert. They may be taking a look at this spot.
Yeah. Mike Zimmer talking with Tony Corrente about it.
Minnesota's challenging the ruling on the field that the runner was short of progress to get a first down.
Heineke made the dive. He has to get the ball to the marker.
That was Zimmer in that first half. I think a tough spot at the end of the half. I don't think it played a big role. He had to burn the timeout anyway. The clock management not great. He didn't like that spot. So Heineke, if anything goes out of bounds.
Yeah, his arm looks like it's down before.
I don't think he's going to be at the 30. The ball is set at the 30, but clearly it did not make the first down marker.
Better angle. Now keep in mind they piece all these angles together to play investigator.
Yeah, and the first down marker is at the 32, a little over the 32-yard line. You can bump that up another yard, maybe a yard and a half. I still think that is going to be short.
Keep in mind the calls come from New York now. Al Riveron, the head of officiating, new head of officiating now. He and his crew watch each and every play of every game. They make the call. The referee here on the field has little tablets at the 20-yard line. He will take a look, but he's in communication with the people in New York. They will rule whether or not the play will stand or be overturned. And from that point on, then it's the referee's duty to figure out the time on the clock, the spot on the field, all those things that need to be done to finish out the play.
And if you go to the 31.5-yard line, now you're less than a yard. maybe a different decision here rather than just to punt. Down 14, 8 minutes to go.
You're awfully deep in your own territory.
This was done to speed up the process.
Yeah, and you know, for the most part, in all honesty, it has. Maybe not on this play, but for the most part, this preseason, the calls have come out faster.
And remember, moving parts, clock, where the ball is going to be positioned.
Bounds at the 31-yard line. It is still short of a first down. Fourth down. Minnesota will be charged with their first timeout.
Love that effort. Not only do you have to rush the passer with 4, an effective passer in situations like that where you have a lot of dropping deep zone defenders, you've also got to pursue. Just one loaf the entire game down there in Los Angeles. I think that staff very, very pleased defensively with the effort, and Bass showing it yet again here. 2-touchdown lead, 8 minutes to go in the fourth quarter.
David Moore set back deep for Seattle. From the 15. One move. Flags come flying.
Well, Brian Schneider's going to have a whole lot to clean up. Too many penalties in the special teams phase of the game tonight.
It's at least the third one we've seen here in this half on the special teams unit.
Saw a couple in the first half as well, that return game.
10th penalty overall for the Seahawks.
During the return of the kick, illegal block in the back, receiving team number 11. This penalty be assessed half the distance to the goal. First down.
That's on Kenny Lawler, who's had a couple of good tackles on special teams tonight, but giving one back here. Seahawks football presented by Washington's Lottery and Seahawks Fever Scratch. You can win 50 grand or 2018 season tickets for 2. Go to WALottery.com for details. Javon Boykin back in at quarterback for the Seahawks.
We saw this a year ago. Jay Keeps went into a game. Boykin came back in. The backup to Russell Wilson. You got to be ready at a moment's notice.
Alex Collins, no running room again. You know, we talk about the depth at running back. But your success is predicated on that offensive line. And since Collins has gotten in here in the fourth quarter, I mean, he's at 0 running room.
Yeah.
Let's go down to the sideline for the Seahawks. Safety Cam Chancellor joins us. Hey, Cam, how are you?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
All right. Nice to see you again. Hey, let's just talk a little bit about this training camp is officially over. You're in the second preseason game. Your assessment of how things have gone so far this year?
I think things are going well. You know, the camaraderie has been great. Guys are working hard, and we're pushing each other. We're just out there competing, and we're getting better as a unit.
Hey, this Delano kid likes to hit a little bit, huh?
Oh, yeah. I love Delano, man. He's a hard worker. You know, he's a guy who he doesn't have a lot of words, but he's going to use those pads, and he's ready to learn, and he's getting better every day.
How quickly can you tell, Cam? You've been in this league now a number of years. You've seen a lot of young guys come into the game. When can you get a pretty good tell and bead if that young guy likes to hit the way you like to hit?
Well, I got a pretty good eye for talent, and, you know, just watching him, the way he approaches the tackles, the way he talks about tackling and contact, you know, it just tells me a lot. And he's not afraid. You know, he's going to put his head in there, and I can just see it.
Big run for Alex Collins.
And all we needed was Cam to come on.
There you go.
Get the offense going.
Hey, you know, one of the things that Earl Thomas mentioned to us yesterday about the new guys, the rookies and the veterans that are on the defense, is that the existing guys, your DNA tends to rub off on new guys as soon as they come here quickly.
Oh, yeah, because we have a standard. You know, it's a standard. You know, you got to tackle, you got to hit, you got to cover, you got to be tenacious. You know, this is one of those things that we bring to the table. So, you know, when you join this group, it's just something you got to have, and it's something that, it kind of like he says, it just rubs off on those guys, and they just want to be just like us. So, hey, it's just a group thing.
After the 19-yard run by Collins, he has a nice reception out near another first down. This one for 11 yards.
Hey, what a great piece that U60 did on you over there at ESPN, Cam. Everybody enjoyed watching that. Can you put in perspective what your new contract means to you and your family?
I can't hear you. I can't hear you.
Oh, I was just asking, could you put in perspective what your new contract, your new deal means to you, Cam, and your family?
You know, just some security for me and my family and the future ahead of me. But it just shows that I have more years here in Seattle, more chances to go after that Super Bowl ring that I love, and you know, just ready to go after it.
Well, we got to let you go, but I'm sure the guys on offense probably don't want that to happen. That's a 15-yard game. That's up with double-digit runs since we got you on the headsets. Congratulations on the new deal. Thanks for talking to us.
All right, thank you.
All right. I tell you what, this offense suddenly got rolling out of nowhere.
Yeah, it got real loud down there, too.
15-yard run. Ball now at the 36 of Minnesota. Well, not on that one. Mike Davis.
Put him back on the mic.
Yeah, Jaleel Johnson.
Put the headsets back on.
This would be like one of those split screen things when Cam is on, when Cam is not on. No running room and versus double-digit plays.
He has been on this training camp. He's been on this offseason. I mean, you just add these guys, and I think why Pete Carroll and why you've heard from the staff and you heard from Jimmy Graham earlier, how they've carried over their offseason right into training camp. That is a have-to in the league today. You just do not get that many practices. I mean, you don't have time to take a month or 2 months off. You've got to come in impeccable shape to hit the ground running, and Cam certainly has.
Here's Boykin going for Grayson, and Cyril Grayson can't catch it. We mentioned earlier, hadn't played ball since high school, was a track star at LSU, part of their All-American track team, 7-time All-American indoor and outdoor, but those hands may be a little bit rusty.
And you see some of that acceleration and burst, a little bit of contact. I think he felt that safety coming at him. You can see his eyes focus in on that football. You're going to take the hit anyway. Might as well find a way to bring it in.
Third and long.
I just want to see another 50-yard field goal.
You want to see what Walsh will do? Boykin bobbled, and flags coming up. Rodney Smith down deep. Sam Brown there on the coverage, and I think the rookie Brown is going to be called for the penalty.
Pass interference, defense, number 31, and an automatic first down.
Tell you what you see with Boykin. We've seen it last preseason. Saw him down last week in Los Angeles. A little bit of early contact there. He throws the ball outside the numbers very well. We were down on the field pregame, Kurt, watching him throw. The next evolution for him is throwing, I think, between the numbers. The comfort of knowing the coverages, of playing with anticipation. Taking those shots down the field. I think as a passer right now, that is where he is most comfortable and gifted.
28-yard penalty, puts it at the 11. Collins coughed it up. Vikings recover. Eric Wilson. Penalty flags down as well as Wilson takes a hit out of bounds. Well, Collins in that running back battle, that certainly won't help his cause. I didn't hear what the penalty call was. No penalty, inadvertent flag, so they picked it up. Vikings will take it over after the fumble. Ball on the 24-yard line.
Last week against Buffalo, 7 tackles, undrafted free agent. You see it all the time. Seahawks the most undrafted rookie free agents on their roster, 27 of them last season. Also making his case there for Minnesota.
Vikings take over at the 24-yard line. Taylor Heineke still in at quarterback. Pressured out of the pocket. Heineke, it's a couple yards, it's 4 yards on the run before Marcus Cromartie forced him out of bounds. Heineke. Pressured. Caught out of the backfield. Newby.
That's a good finish there from Tremaine Brock. Playing that nickel position. He has so much experience in his back pocket. A lot of it is playing on the outside. He's a guy that they're going to give every opportunity here to play some of that nickel over the next couple weeks. Just a couple days of practice under his belt. Coming to Seattle, that was a good finish.
In San Francisco last year, played more snaps at cornerback than any other player in the NFL last season.
That one just a tad bit late.
Isaac Frichte, the receiver, and there you can see Delano Hill still down. We talked about how he likes to hit. Sometimes you wind up hurting yourself trying to lay the big hit.
Yeah, we've seen this a couple times from Minnesota. They threw it in a conversion, a huge collision early in the game with with Earl Thomas. Minnesota was able to hold on to that. That is a tight window. You can see Tremaine right there. I like what Cam said, though. I knew by the way he talked about it.
Yeah.
I think those guys that like to strike and hit, there is just some things that need to be said and a whole lot that's unsaid. Let the pads do the talking.
Good to see Hill walking off. And there's Cam giving him a hard time. So you sense that nothing serious with the injury. Maybe just got the wind knocked out of him. Heineke running. Chased out of bounds. Marcus Cromartie and Christian French giving chase. 12 yards on the run by Heineke.
He's got a little scramble to him, doesn't he?
He does.
I think more comfortable almost doing that and extending some of those plays than he is throwing within the rhythm of the offense.
Just shy of the 46-yard line. Caught. Big tight end, Bucky Hodges. Takes it into Seahawk territory for Nico Thorpe. Stops him, 33 yards on the gain, and the Vikings continue to hurry up. We reach the 3-minute mark. From the 21. Heineke looking towards the end zone. Pass is caught for the touchdown by Hodges. Right in front of Tedrick Thompson, Bucky Hodges with the score.
Yeah, back-to-back plays of the big tight end. A little bit more receiver there, Virginia Tech a year ago. This is very similar to the touchdown a week ago with Shaq Griffin against the big-bodied Antonio Gates. And you remember the little teaching lesson we got yesterday. If you're going to come underneath that route, you better be right. Because the teaching concept in that room is your leverage, and it is going to the back shoulder and ripping his right arm down and seeing if he can catch it with his left arm through all that contact. So that was almost an exact example of what Coach Richard was talking about with Shaq Griffin. A touchdown last week, and that time a very similar concept there. Got to trust your leverage and technique in that moment.
Kane adds the extra point. And suddenly, with 2 minutes 49 seconds left, it's a touchdown game.
In college, you could go through them. Right? Shaq Griffin in college could go underneath those tight ends 9 out of 10 times, and he's going to make the play and break it up. But you got Antonio Gates, you get the tight ends at this level, the Gronkowskis, the Jimmy Grahams, you've got no shot going underneath those big bodies. You got a much better shot if when that ball is in the air, you're ripping that right arm and trying to make him, force him into a one-handed, left-handed catch. Coach Schneider there, the special teams coach. We talked earlier about the penalties and the number of penalties. We're a one-score game, 2:49. Minnesota's got 2 timeouts. Got to be aware for everything, including that potential onside kick. And it's one thing when you're coaching guys that have done it a lot and you're familiar with. It's another when you've got some of the backups. To some of the backups in this situation that you've gotten very little reps, more than likely over the course of training camp.
It's a matter of trusting those guys too. Being able to look them in the eyes and make sure they understand what you're talking about. It's kicked deep. Cyril Grayson, he debated it.
Here you go, 3-minute drill.
Your 2-minute 49-second offense is what they want to see.
And you work on this. I mean, this is some of that situational football. This is where Boykin's legs should come into play if you're going to go back to some of that zone read and some of that movement. But you're looking for one first down. Yep.
Well, the Vikings have 3 timeouts plus the 2-minute warning here, so you're going to need a couple to keep this clock going. Boykin from the shotgun, hands it off to Alex Collins. 5 yards on the play, and Minnesota calls its first timeout. Well, you know that guy wants redemption.
Sure. Reese Odiambo continues to play the entirety of this game. That will be, I think, a couple of the biggest takeaways from this game. Had a whole lot of fun with Blair Walsh and talking some noise to his old team. We were just bragging about George Fant and what he had done this entire offseason. Unfortunately, friendly fire collapses into his lower leg there at the end of the second quarter. He goes out, air cast. And this place has been Reese Odiambo.
Low snap. Collins, first down. It was one of those that they need. 6 yards on the run.
You see the thumbs up to the sideline. Don't you dare take me off this field. Yeah, I had the giveaway that really created and made this a one-score game. And I'd like the opportunity, if you're Alex Collins, to try to go and finish this thing and put it away. And you see running back coach Chad Morton there.
So that is the Vikings' final timeout. They lost one on that challenge earlier, even though the ball was spotted. They had to move the spot. They didn't get the first down, so they charged with a timeout. So Minnesota now out of timeouts. They do have a 2-minute warning coming up in 30 seconds.
3 consecutive zone reads, play to the strength of Trevon Boykin. Makes it a little bit easier when you run that zone read, right? That edge defender, one less guy to account for, and a really nice push by Precheck and Posick and the guys inside. And this is what you work on. This is your 3-minute offense to finish it out.
2-minute warning. Seahawks will try and close the door here.
To 13 with 2 minutes left. Aaron Levine alongside Dave Wyman. And Dave, aside from that last Vikings touchdown, the Seahawks really showing their depth and dominance on the defensive side of the ball.
Yep, and they're taking the ball away, and so they're able to hold them to 71 yards rushing. So we'll see if they can close this thing out. This is a great drill for them for the 2 minutes on offense.
We'll have highlight stats and reaction on the postgame show in just a couple of minutes, guys. Back to you.
All right, thanks a lot, Alex Collins. Just about a yard short of the first down. If they get a first down, this one's going to be over. Of course, the biggest thing that happened tonight was the loss of left tackle George Fant. Just after being named the starter for week 1, goes out, leg in an air cast, carted off the field. No update on his condition just yet. And Reese Odiambo has been playing every snap since then at left tackle now.
Nice job of Alex responding there. You see almost 5 yards a carry with the 4 touches since that fumble.
That should put it away.
Good for you, kid. I mean, he feels it. And these guys are human beings. They know what's going on competitively, and they know that Chris Carson played a nice game, and they're, you know, it's going to be a fight. But you also know, as you just talked about with George Fant, things can change in an instant in this game. And you've got to continue to prove yourself down in and down out. An excellent run. Finish this game. Can't do it better than that. That's a 3-minute drill you want. 5 carries, zone read, nothing complicated about it. Alex Collins running with some pretty good force, running through some arm tackles and finishing it out.
Finishes off that one with an 18-yard run.
Don't ever count numbers. That's what Coach Carroll and every one of these coaches around the league is going to tell you. Don't count numbers. You just don't know what is going to happen on any given play. Just do what you can control.
So the Seahawks make it 2 for 2 in the preseason. Finishing this one off 20-13, a couple of touchdown passes from Russell Wilson. The first one to Kasen Williams, the second to the running back Mike Davis. A couple of 52-yard field goals from Blair Walsh, who's much friendlier right now that the game's over than he was after those kicks. And there you can see hugging it out with a bunch of his former teammates. 20-13, the